Okay. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. Nothing really happened.
It's
Lori Fitzgerald, Carl Walzer, Riley High. Steve Jernigan.
Trying to want to do the audio over your phone.
Yeah. So there's a,
He's just sorting things out. Are you
Yep,
able to mute him?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Let's move agenda item 9 up next. And we'll go in the order of ABC. We'll take it as is. So the first one is a request from the Rivera family, and Mr. Rivera is here. If you listened in or attended the Plan Commission meeting from a month ago, that is not related. You know, it's not directly related. So there are other issues, more complex issues that were related to his property. This is not that. So what we're dealing with here is a very simple, just like reconfiguring of the lot lines for lot 1 and lot 2. It's already been, correct me if I'm wrong, already been approved by the village.
Not by the village,
By the
and
county though?
the county approved it, yeah.
Okay,
So the town plan committee did not vote on it, so I can find your thoughts on it.
right. For this particular item, there no changes to the property boundaries at all. No changes in ownership, really just a simple reconfiguring of those 2 lot lines. Anybody have questions about that? It's pretty straightforward.
I noticed, I think in the packet, there's a letter from Elise Cruz where she says from the village that she is supportive of it.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yep.
So we haven't, it's not an approval, but it's a, what do you call it? Suggestion we will approve, something like that, so we do have that in our packet.
They don't have any concern about the proposed 2 lot
Yeah.
in the review of the ETJ boundaries, so.
Right. So I just want to make clear then too, this is no, if you decide in the future to pursue the 3 lots on that property, this has no effect on it.
Right,
It's really just what you've got now.
yeah,
Okay. All right, any other questions from anyone?
so that's what I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Was the 3 lots. So when I brought this up in the plan commission, it seemed as though they were looking at it favorably, that I would be able to split it into 3 lots because there's 6 acres there. The only thing that was hindering that process was a note that was put on the CSM that was restricting it only to 2.
Right.
But there's no deed restriction, there's no covenant, there's no anything other than this note that was put on there.
Right.
2020.
And the note, my understanding is the note is not really a factor because really the comprehensive plan,
Okay, and they just.
your idea is in conflict with part of the comprehensive plan in the land use chapter. So what it's going to become more complex than just us saying yes or no tonight, because we can't say yes or no because we don't know enough about it.
Yeah,
The plan commission is the place to return to. With this particular request for the reconfiguring of the lot lines, we can either vote on it, or if you're saying it doesn't really factor into what you want to do, then it's a trip back to the plan commission.
yeah, so I was just hoping to get a little bit of clarity of what those extra hoops might be to turn it into 3 lots and where that would conflict with the comprehensive plan.
It's, I don't remember exactly what page, but it's in chapter 8. We were having a discussion yesterday, and I think the plan commission commissioner is ready to look at it with you again. But it's much more complex because you're dealing with existing zoning and restrictions on the zoning. So we just can't give you a maybe or like a warm maybe or a cold maybe, which is we don't have the information to give it to you. And My gut feeling is it's gonna be more complex than you think.
Okay,
Not because of the property size or whether you can fit three
Yeah.
2 acre lots in there. That's not gonna be the issue, but the plan commission really, that's their expertise, is to go in depth into this type of thing and
Okay.
try to find solutions for people, but there isn't always a solution. Not at least there isn't always a near-term solution.
okay. Okay, I wish I knew what that would be because. I mean, I guess I read through the comprehensive plan and the zoning and all that stuff doesn't change. The only thing that's different is a shared driveway. And this property used to be 3 individual parcels. So I guess I don't really know what the issue would be. Maybe that's a question for the plan commission.
Okay.
Sure, Stephanie.
Just a quick. One of the issues that there is that they found in the comprehensive plan is that there is not usually a allowance of adding land together to make more lots. And so you weren't the current, like you weren't the owner of all of those lots to begin with. And so there is a stipulation basically where there's not it's not allowable to buy a little land from this next person and then you get a. So that's going to be one of the hangups.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of.
And that's been there. That's always been there. It's just
Sure.
something that is that I think that they see more in the plan commission with larger properties and buying from neighboring lots.
Right,
It doesn't mean that you would necessarily be eligible for another
okay.
building right. So that's going to be the hang up.
Yeah, I don't get that because people absorb properties to develop them all the time and including within the town of Oregon. And also, I mean, what would prevent me from turning these 2 lots into 1 6-acre lot? Now it's one property that's 6 acres. Now I just divided into 3. Like that. Yeah, I mean, I see that.
Right, no, you
Because the
couldn't.
process that we went through to get to that place.
Yeah.
Prohibits it, but also. Like, why is there a limitation, especially given the history of this property, because it was 3 lots at one point.
Hmm.
In the very recent future, it's like, or in the very recent past,
Mhm.
so. Taking a step back and going back to three properties doesn't seem like a stretch, but, okay,
The way that it usually works on something like this is it either starts at the plan commission or goes back to the plan commission. And then sorting out the details, if possible, happens with that group. And then if there is something to propose, they will propose it to us here and we'll vote on it.
okay,
So similar to what we might do tonight with the 2 lots, if you need that, or if you don't, we won't, but there are a lot of details, there's a lot of even though it seems logical, sometimes there are barriers in the way, either in precedent or in actually written in the comprehensive plan.
yeah,
So that, I think, as unsatisfying as it might be tonight, is probably the way that you have to do it.
okay. So,
And I think, sorry to interrupt, I was gonna say too, I think, I didn't attend the plan commission meeting a month ago, but I watched it. Good TV. And I think that the entire group will be I'm gonna say more prepared, but I think that they'll be able to study up. And I know that Tim Janacek, the commissioner, is aware that this may still be an ongoing discussion with them.
okay. So to have that conversation with them again. I will have to submit this 3 lot CSM.
You'd have
as
to
an
apply
official
as
application.
yes.
Right. If that's what you want to do next.
Well,
But
I mean,
this
yes and no.
application, yeah,
Right.
this application doesn't have to be not approved or not approved today. It can be approved today. And you can go about whatever your next decision is without it like postponing this one. And even as you get this new CSM, it doesn't hinder, we've questioned the county as well, that it does not hinder you from coming back and asking for the 3 lot.
With another CSM.
Right.
Yeah,
I see.
A totally separate application.
Okay. So if I was to, right, so if I was to reconfigure these lot lines. That CSM is all done, I can come back and submit again with 3.
Yes, it doesn't have to affect this one yet.
Doesn't affect
Yep,
this.
yep.
Okay,
So if you want to continue to move forward with this one and make it your decision, you know what I mean? You can at least have this portion done with. Your initial application.
if it needs to happen.
Yeah.
If it needs to exist, if you want this, we can vote on it.
Mhm.
If you choose to go different direction, we'll skip over it.
Yep.
I'll tell you just a little bit of information that right now we're sort of in a situation where because of because of the tax levy and the restrictions, we would like to have more development. And sadly, it's not in the new comprehensive plan. Will it be there someday? Hopefully, but that takes amendments and an awful lot of things to get it in. And so this plan was just voted in this past year, not that long ago, with very little new development.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess that that kind of helps, and I suppose I need to study up on the comprehensive plan a little bit more. In chapter 8 and see where the hangups may be.
And I'm sure you can reach out to Commissioner Janacek. I
Yeah.
believe his contact information is on our website.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course.
So if the plan commission was, if we go back there and discuss all this and they vote on it and it passes. And it comes back here, does this body take their approval into serious consideration when you
Yep,
are deliberating this?
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
And you may end up with a checklist of people to talk to.
yeah,
I mean, besides the plan commission, but
okay,
they can help you.
sure, like people at the county or people. Okay, well, all right, the county was pretty on board with 3 lots, they didn't have a problem with it. Because the driveway is actually. It's already been permitted for 3 houses and all that stuff from Mark, whoever we bought it from. Okay. Well, I guess if there's no harm to a future plan of trying to get a 3rd lot in this property, I guess I'd rather vote today.
Get this application.
This
going.
application. Yeah, I suppose it has to go back to the plan commission anyway.
No,
This particular item, no.
this particular
is-
item can be approved
This
by
is
these
it.
guys.
Okay.
They want to.
The one that you submitted, right?
Okay,
So good to go ahead with it.
Vote on it.
Anyone want to put a motion together? You can refer to the passage in the agenda instead of reading it all. If you're,
I make a motion regarding parcel 0509-241-9475-0, 0509-241-94600 at 749 County Highway MM to reconfigure lot lines to increase size of lot 1, decreasing size of lot 2.
there a second? I'll second. And any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion passes.
So does this go to the village now, or what happens with this? I'm not well versed in this.
Well, I don't know when it was supposed to, or if it's when, I know that we got a memo from Elise from the village. December 26th that says that they don't see.
They didn't see any problems with it.
Right. And she recommended that the village not take any action to oppose the CSM, so I'm not wondering. I don't see theirs in here though, if it might have already been approved at that level.
Okay,
And then once it's approved by all the, which is us, but you know, the town board, the village and. Cause that was in December, so I don't know if they had a meeting and they've already approved it, but
Okay.
you'd have to call planning over there. And then, county, whenever that's approved, and then once that's done, then you can come back and get your CSN signed.
the county goes back.
Did you already have the meeting where they approved it?
Yep.
Well, then, that's why it's done.
So. I just have to get
As long as,
signed and then-
yeah, here is approved and we send an action report and all the things and that's about it.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good. Thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep,
Good luck.
thanks.
Let's, if we can, let's jump to 9C, and then we'll come back to Mr. Jensen. 9C is just the Dane County ordinance that was edited, more or less, it's in the packet. It's already, let's check my notes real quick here. I want to say that the plan commission already looked at it.
We did,
and
yeah.
approved it, so.
5-0 was the vote, yeah. it was-
Yes, okay. So, any questions about it before we vote?
No.
Okay, someone would like to make a motion on that?
I can.
Okay.
I move to approve Dane County Ordinance Amendment 2023 0A068 regarding conditional use permit and rezoning process.
Okay, now in second,
I'll second it.
Kate seconds, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, so let's go to 9B, and this is the Jensen petition. And Mr. Jensen, you can hear us okay? And how is,
Oh, we
we just need to unmute him.
have to unmute us.
He's got to unmute himself.
Okay,
Can you oh, there we go.
there you go.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Okay,
Would you like-
uh,
go ahead.
this technology blows me away. That I can be anywhere in the world and still attend a town of Oregon, meeting. My matter tonight is the development agreement. And there are a couple of things that we need to talk about. First thing is that the number on the CSM, it's gotten held up by the fact that I'm not in Wisconsin. And the Berncott put down the wrong name on the signature page. They put down Jerry Jensen, and everybody knows me as Jerry Jensen, but it has to be consistent with my driver's license, which is Gerald L. Jensen. So that's, that's going to be resolved. And I think you also have a letter of intent from One Oregon Community Bank.
Letter of credit.
Stephanie, do you have that?
Yes, they have it.
Okay. So, and everything else that is in the developers agreement is consistent or is agreed upon by the town's lawyer and me. So I think what I'm gonna ask you tonight is to approve the developers agreement with conditions that we get the CSM registered and the letter of credit approved.
Can I ask you about the conditions? We have an email from the town's attorney, so Bill Morgan, that he's showing 3 items to place as conditions. The first one was the letter of credit. We received the blank version of that. So he also lists as second, the receipt of administrative fees and escrow. Has that already been paid?
Richard Allen.
If you're sure, it's not a problem, because we can just add it as a condition, whether it was done or not, and then eventually be checked off. If you happen to know, then we could.
Okay, I'm just getting a call from the road builder. But, that's the thing I'd like to start moving dirt and get this road done so we could improve these 2 lots. But, okay, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
My first question was about, more of a statement, I guess, that we've received the blank sort of template for the letter of credit. So I mean, it's filled in, not executed. So that's one thing. The second question was whether you, have already paid the administrative fees and escrow.
I have not.
That'll be one of the conditions. And then
Okay,
the third one that's listed by Attorney Morgan is preparation and our approval, meaning the law firm's approval of a new restrictive covenant document regarding the splits to supersede document number 477/2010. If you're not sure, that's okay. We can also just add that.
okay.
That's okay. If you don't know, that's fine. And then because we're not, some of this stuff, some of these things sort of evolved over the last 24 hours. In a previous list from Attorney Beckler, back in the fall, he also included just a catch-all condition that said this condition would be all of the other concerns raised have been satisfactorily addressed. So it's really a catch-all just in case we missed something. Be able to hear that?
Carl, I'm really having trouble listening.
But
It's just,
we've got another longer list back from the fall, and this was from Attorney Beckler. Some of the things some of the things have carried over to the newer list. And there may be some, we're not sure whether they've been satisfied or not. So I'm tempted to include those also, and we'll just for those as we can further later. The type of approval we'd be looking at would be an approval developers agreement based on this list of conditions. I think is what you're asking. You able to get any of that?
no, Sir Carl, I'm really, the audio is really breaking up.
All bring up that.
I don't know if it was in. It was in, okay.
That was the law.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's five items.
Oh,
Five, so it's giants, it's 5 items. It's 6 as a catch-all.
okay.
So really, there are 3 left, and a couple of them do cross over to this old list. There's a third of the 3. Actually, the third of the 3 is also in this. I think the investment requirement is also in this. They don't. Probably. Probably pretty safe and pretty, less than mentioned. That's a mental.
Jerry, did you get that? That sounds like what we were talking about.
Stephanie, can you dial my phone number and put me on? Uh,
I,
okay. That's Brenda.
yeah.
It's
I-
Brenda, yeah.
Okay, Brenda called me, but because I can't hear a darn thing.
Him,
Oh, good, okay.
Jerry, is this better?
Much.
Okay. So that's-
Because I have to mute myself in order for it not to do something.
I need to be picking up a lot of the.
Oh,
Jerry, can you hear me okay, Jerry?
I can now, yes.
Okay, let me just, I'm gonna shave off about 4 minutes of that. So what we've been talking about is an approval of the developer's agreement based on the latest list of conditions from our attorney, from Bill Morgan. He's got 3 things on there. One is a letter of credit that's been approved by their office. The second is proof of receipt of the administrative fees and escrow. And the third on his list is, and I'll read it verbatim. It says preparation and our approval of a new restrictive covenant document regarding the splits to supersede doc number 4772010. And then, because we're not totally sure if we've picked up the other conditions from the fall, one of the suggestions from back there was to include a condition saying that all of the other concerns raised have been satisfactorily addressed. So we have 1, 2, 3 specific conditions, and then this 4th one as a catch-all in case something has fallen through the cracks and still has to be done. Is that about, it sounds like what you're looking for. And I believe it'll get you to what, I believe it'll get you what you need.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from anybody at all? So what we'd be looking for is a motion to approve the developer's agreement condition. You might not have this.
No,
You don't. Okay,
We don't have. it.
okay, sorry, you should. Let me do this then. I'll do the motion.
Okay.
Okay, so let me double check the wording. Okay, so I'm really gonna I'm gonna move item 9D with the conditions attached. So I move to approve developer's agreement for the Jensen petition number DCPREZ 2022-11885, parcel number 0509-154-94100 and 0509-154-9220 and 0509-159-95300 north and south of Town Park Road, including letter of credit for road development with the conditions of And Stephanie, I'll just give these to you. So you
Yeah, them.
So conditions of receipt of the letter of credit, which has been approved by our office being the town's attorney's office. Receipt of the administrative fees and escrow required by section 11.20.060 B4. If it was not already paid, it may have well been, and preparation and our approval, again, our approval being the town's legal representation. Our approval of a new restrictive covenant document regarding the splits to supersede document number 4772010 and condition number 4. That all of the other concerns raised have been satisfactorily addressed. And be looking for a second.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
That was rough, sorry.
It was. All right, thank you.
Sharon, can you hear us pretty well? I'm wondering if you can hear us better than Jerry could.
She's saying yes.
Okay.
That's probably not helping, so we'll.
okay, I'm sorry.
No, this is perfect, thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
Pass it down.
Mhm.
And actually, here's the wording down at the bottom. The other one, number 6 down there.
Number 6 on the bottom.
All right, so let's go back to. Item number 3. One second.
Looks like there's two sets, the joint
Oh, the joint.
road and traffic one, and then your other, the December one.
Okay, any questions or comments about the 2 sets of minutes? And without objection, we'll approve the town board meeting minutes dated December 12th, and also the joint meeting of the town board and road and traffic safety committee from January 8th. So those are approved. Item number 4, the financial report and payment voucher approval. You've got the payment voucher.
Yeah, I have to get that to you guys to sign, right?
Yes.
I have it. Don't you worry, I have it in here somewhere.
This one's signed. But we can, any concerns about the payment voucher? And we won't have the financial report until,
Next one,
Next-
we'll just
next-
add them up
next one.
together, yeah.
any questions or concerns about the payments? And then without objection, the payment voucher is approved. Public comments, no one attending. Fire and EMS reports, let me just do Belleville real quick, I don't have a report.
I think that was it.
You want
The
to
only,
go to Brooklyn or?
I was unavailable for that particular one. I was just getting out of the hospital.
So
And I missed, and it's my wife for doing all the snowballing.
What did you say?
okay,
I taught Cindy to use the snowboard
Oh.
2 days before I went to the hospital, and that's where you got
Very
the
nice.
snow. So my exercise was going to the window and watching her.
Okay, and then Oregon?
the only thing is people have been wondering, some people, what's happening. They're talking about a new fire station. And everything right now is kind of on hold because the original plan, they were hoping they were gonna be able to move into the area that the village had had for their town hall. Well, now the village is having a whole plan on what they want to happen in downtown Oregon. So we have no idea whether we can do it there, which would be less expensive, or if we have to move to a different location.
On the outskirts more?
I had a I'll say this for later. I had a conversation with Phil on about that.
Yes.
Okay.
When's this next?
You don't have to.
Oh, wait.
The seventh.
Anything else on,
Because of the one's gonna come in law. No.
anything else on those reports?
Susan's not coming. Hold on.
Lost my place. Okay, so a park report. We were going to. I think we were gonna postpone this one.
Well, has there been any action on
There
it?
hasn't, and part of it was that. Jennifer, I think, it was Stephanie, was it you two, or suggested, just Jennifer, suggested a joint meeting. The board with the existing park committee members to see what their thoughts are. Just in general, because it may be that the park committee morphs into something slightly different, and I don't know exactly what that is. But it may be that those people on the park committee have specific skills or interests or whatever, and I don't know what they are. I don't know that any of us do. You might actually, Kate might. But I think it wouldn't hurt to have a fresh discussion with them about, coming up on the growing season pretty soon and the park season, and how do you want to accomplish it, or how do you want us to help you accomplish it?
But so we're not even sure it's going to go back to 5 people, because the last time we had decided that we would just make a notification in the Oregon Observer that we're looking for people.
I know.
And that was supposed to go in January.
Yeah, I
And
think,
now we know we have 2 people that are interested, even without putting that ad in. And then the other person, and I never can remember her name, but she was a director of Dane County Parks.
is it raining?
Yes,
And I don't know the last name.
yeah, but she'd be the person to ask, because if she's willing to help or be on it, she could probably direct us where to go next. So I had sent back to Jennifer, maybe if we do this joint meeting, the possibility have, maybe she would come. Maybe Roe Parker, maybe Steve, to go this direction.
Well, I don't think I think it fell through the cracks in January as far as sending out something or putting in the Observer. So I think we could do that again for sure. Or again, well,
I mean, I think it'd
Bring
be a
it
good
back
idea
into it.
before, because if nobody responds, then if we have people that voiced an interest, and we can say, okay, we'll talk to you.
right. I think we finally, I know that I think Jennifer was waiting on something from Steve Root to a write-up of some kind, but we're not gonna wait
No.
on that. So I think the idea of, I think it could be first the ad, I think is what you're saying, first the ad and then the meeting, which is legit, because you've got scattered names, I've got a couple names, but it's, and I can't remember exactly, but it's a mix between park committee and some people who are interested in the planning.
Does he have a folder of meetings I've been in on that talked of this, this particular trees has to be cut, these playground piece of equipment have to be replaced?
Yeah, I think he does.
Does he have?
Or I thought you did.
We did, we got like a list.
I mean, I went around and looked at.
Oh,
the
okay.
plate, but that does he have a list, did he get any bids as far as
But then even stepping
placement?
back,
I
the
have no
sooner
idea.
we can get a
Anything?
park plan, then things can maybe be paid
Yes.
for. We can
Yeah.
get grants
And I think we
possibly
need
for
to get
sure
on
for
it.
trees. So that's why the sooner we can figure out how to get something going and get the park plan.
Yeah, at the very least, we could plan better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think, it's not that I don't know, we haven't planned for park things, it's really been what's coming up, like you were saying, there's a tree that's gonna fall over.
And we can't really count on getting out in, we have weather supposedly coming in Thursday again. We can't really put a date on when can we get out there and take a few days and walk around the
And
parks.
giving
and-
fairness to Steve, he spent a lot of time.
Yes.
He
Oh,
went and
absolutely.
did and knew
Wonderful.
everything that needed to be done, and then could check on mapping, and he did all of that, so.
But he did reach out saying that
Yeah.
he'd be more than
Yeah,
happy.
right,
to-
so that's why I'm
to meet.
thinking if we have this joint meeting, maybe he'd come and be real helpful.
Yeah, I think so. So, but what we're saying is, run an ad soonish,
Yeah,
right? And see what we get from that. And then schedule something with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Are we gonna contact people that have shown interest? Cause I know there's something I gave Stephanie, and I still have
the
We-
contact.
I have one contact of a person that's very interested in.
I think so.
Rob
It might
was
be,
another one that's interested.
It'd be at least to get back
So
to
do
him
a-
that knowledge that, hey,
Yeah.
Eugene, are you still interested?
I think either, let me just say, because
Action is, you want staff to put something in the newspaper. Yeah, right? First, like that's our first
I think so.
step.
Yeah, because we talked about, remember, I think it was November, December or something. I wrote something up, but it was longer than we usually do.
Mhm.
And we were gonna do whatever, you must have a short version of a generic,
Yeah, I think Jennifer sent it, yep.
I didn't see it, but maybe I did, I can't remember. Anyway, but something like that, so not whatever I wrote up,
Okay.
is what I'm doing.
So we put it in the Observer and on the website.
Yeah, okay.
And then, you were saying as far as contacting people that have reached out,
Mhm.
either now or wait until we get a collection of other people and a date scheduled for the
Right.
meeting, and then you can say, hey, if you're interested, show up at this meeting.
Yeah.
So maybe it wouldn't be necessarily a board and park committee meeting, it would be a board and anybody who's interested in participating.
But would it be okay to then contact this person back, say, hey, we've talked about this,
Mhm.
there's going to be a notice, so just watch out for the notice. in the paper."
Yeah,
All the time.
invite,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
invite them to that,
Yeah,
Okay, good.
whatever it may be.
yeah, that sounds good. Okay, anything else on that?
Well, just clarification,
Sure.
is the next meeting scheduled?
No.
Park committee, that's to be
That's not
announced.
scheduled.
Okay.
They don't have them in the wintertime.
Yeah, so
They
you,
talked about in March.
Okay.
sometimes they start in March, and other times they've started in April.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it'll be next month.
It can be, yeah,
May-
That's
yeah.
just
kind of
for-
like-
And probably the person that he goes to Arizona that has been on it the longest
Uh-huh.
comes back in April, so we should have Jeff Nelson.
Okay,
Because the other gentleman also
Yeah,
resigned.
right,
Right, yeah, really more the merrier kind of. We need to know what other people know. And
right.
if Steve can attend to find out what he can share with anybody else who might be working on this, on the committee,
Okay.
sounds good to me. All right, so that was, oh, no, I'm off my one. So, number 8, the pork discussions, and I think that this was already resolved because.
well, this one, I thought it was, but on page 8,
Mhm.
there's this schedule that was put together. Just kind of trying to project what the need would be for having the torque open. And I thought we approved it at the last meeting, but the agenda says that it's to be approved, I think. I think it still says that.
it does, but I did go into your minutes from last meeting to read on it, because I swear that happened as well.
Yeah, but it didn't show that in the minutes.
I think it
I think that,
did,
Oh,
at the
okay.
very end of the minutes, when it said discussion and possible approval regarding winter hours and bad weather policy. At the very end, the motion was to approve torque hours to first and third Saturdays from 8:30 to noon. For the months of January, February, and March,
Yeah.
seconded by Gladding, and it passed, so, and that you had
And
just.
then this is the projection going
Yeah.
forward. So that was for the board to look at, see what they thought of. And what we did was April, starting April, 8:30 to 3, because it was discussed and the board, several board members felt keeping it open a little bit longer in the afternoon was worthwhile, simply because people need extra time to get their trailers loaded and stuff. But then we said, I believe, if I remember, that around by July 1, we might decide to change that just based on usage.
Mhm.
And then we went forward, October, November, everybody's gonna wanna come every Saturday, and we kept that through December. But with shorter hours in December. So
Mm.
this idea was to just see how that goes. And then the staff has been trying to keep a record of how much people are using the torque. And I just wanna say, that was never something that we did very well or much of, and it was based on just kind of your sense. So what I have here is that for the 2 Saturdays we were open in January, we had 18 vehicles and 5 people who paid to get rid of stuff. And that was on the 6th. On the 20th, 14 vehicles and 6 people who paid to get rid of stuff. The amount of cash coming in is somewhere around $100 to $200 at the most. And so this has always been this big question I had about how we keep that place going is we're not taking in enough money in a situation like that to pay the guy's wages, right? So this whole issue of deciding how, if we can afford to run that, we do owe that to the residents.
Yeah.
And to try to have some meaningful way of showing that it's at least breaking even. Now, winter is slow, and then you have bad weather Saturdays and so on and so forth. I think the real test will be when April comes and people start doing all their yard work and, you know, coming down with big loads of tree limbs and all that stuff and trash. And then the other thing I will say, and this is, you know, I think we're just in the process here, it's nothing definitive, but there does seem, according to the staff, there are people that appreciate, oh, I've got an old mattress here I have to get rid of. You know, there are people that like that, having that option. And we also, along with that, and I think this is the last thing I'll say, the guys are looking really carefully at what we charge per category of item. Because there again, you know, that's complex. And no, maybe we're not getting enough money for the tires. Maybe we should charge more for oil. Maybe we, you know, all of that. So they're working on it. They're really trying to be, I just want to say, I do feel the people that are there now are really trying to see how we can operate efficiently. And, you know, and then there's this other issue that does come up in the discussions of, you know, this is a service that the residents appreciate, especially the brush drop off. So at some point, does it have to really, it's not ever gonna make money, but you know, that idea of having a brush drop off place, well, that's meaningful. People really appreciate that a lot. So that's what we're looking at. So that's, I guess that's all I can say. at
So,
this
you know, they
point.
could come up with also, I mean, it seems like a bigger expense is how much for that dumpster.
Yeah, they
It
don't,
means people appreciate having their mattress a place to come.
yeah,
I mean, our reason for going to curbside
yeah,
was to not be losing money.
right.
And how many
And we-
people are there? I mean, wouldn't they adapt?
And I
Okay.
feel that the main way we were losing money, again, not that this is scientific in a math, you know. We were losing money on all that darn recycling, which we were getting more and more and more and more of. And which we had to pay to have hauled out. And then not enough for the waste, the garbage, no, people, and we're finding that, I think, with the curbside, we put our garbage out every other week sometimes.
Yes.
But we really need our recycling picked up every week. So that's the trick of the whole thing. So anyway, it's all.
Anyhow, so will they be able to help us figure out if we're losing money on that big dumpster? 'Cause
Yes,
that's what we have,
I
we'll want to
think- I
decide
think
on that.
so. And we make the guys make a
Yeah.
deposit every time they're open, and Stephanie has it, it's all written down how much we take in.
Right.
And wouldn't you say, Stephanie, if we take in $200, that's
We
like
had a big week, this last one.
there was a big week.
It was only like $180 something dollars, but it was big for recently. It had only been like
Mhm.
50, 70, whatever.
Oh.
But I can also say that I think it was on this month's bill, Pelletieri they never dumped. So therefore we never had a tipping charge during that or a weight charge. So it was really only for the rental of the dumpster, which is a good thing. That's a positive thing.
It's-
That means it's $100 that you paid for the month
Right,
and we did bring in money from it.
yeah.
We did not have to tip that because of how little it was used.
Yeah, and that's the other
That's the big
thing.
expense.
If we can limit the number of times they have to haul out.
Yep.
And that
And
gets to that idea where they try to compact things.
And that has happened, so.
And.
So how do we find out, like this person that was happy to bring his mattress in?
Mm,
I don't know how much it cost him. If we
That's
said, how about
$25,000.
this, you pay this much to Pelletieri, you don't have to haul it in, we'll pick it up.
Well, we'll see, that was this other argument we were having, like it should be exactly what Terry would charge. to
But
pick
maybe
up.
some
Which
people
would
would say, I'll pay
encourage-
$20 more to have them pick it up.
And I think some people wanna just get it out of, they just wanna get rid of it, you know, it's like nice to just haul it out
Right.
on that weekend and not have to haul. You know, I could see that if I had a trailer and I like to go to the park, which a lot of people do, I just haul and pay the $20 to the
Just-
directly, 25, I think it's 25 now. Anyway, we're looking at it, we'll keep looking at it, we'll keep reporting on it and.
But we're again looking at a small portion of the people that live in the town.
So
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if the special drop-offs got lost in the shuffle over the last, over rolling out the service, right? When you see the bins on your driveway. But you don't know that you can drop off items
Right,
here, or the pellet, I guess really what I meant to say, or the pelletier would come and pick those up. Or, I mean, it's for a charge, right, but it's
I
still,
think it's all spelled out on their website and on the paperwork they've sent out, but people may forget about it.
I mean, I think that's it. I mean, we can reinforce it, but we also have the issue of not that many people go to the website or get the emails.
Right.
But I think it's something though. I think it is something, like either you can take this to the Torque, you know, whenever, or Pelletier will come get it from you.
And they do like the metal and the oil.
Hmm.
Cause a lot of people have a lot of metal junk on their properties and they love bringing it there.
So when you're saying they, how many people is this?
How many come? Well, as I told you how many we had, 20 cars. You know, you have to just keep tabs on it. I think things are just very slow right now.
Right,
as they are every winter.
Yeah.
right.
And that was another thing, we were always out there freezing in the winter from 7:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the afternoon. And we would talk about, well, we really need to be doing this, but, you know, we just couldn't change couldn't make it. The culture, the culture of old guys standing out in the cold, cause they could.
Well, so I think we approved this, right? Like with the,
Yeah, and then we were gonna, but maybe we need to
Formalize this?
formalize the full
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
hypothetical.
with
I
the,
think
with this
because,
document.
Yeah, 'cause we
Yes.
just
Okay.
approved the January through March part.
and
Okay.
then in your road and traffic safety committee, you guys introduced and agreed, you know what I mean, and talked about this more extensive one. And then you moved on. You didn't
Mhm.
vote on it because it wasn't prepared.
That's right, we didn't actually, yeah.
So
Okay.
because it wasn't prepared yet. Now it's prepared. So I think to finalize it and get that off the docket is the best idea.
Perfect. Would you like to make a motion?
Okay,
Well-
I move that the board approve the 2024 proposed hours for work operations.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no, no. Motion passes. Great. And say thanks to Sheldon and the guys too. We don't, they really are doing, as far as record keeping, they're doing a great
Oh,
job.
Cindy and I were out there
Mhm.
for Saturday of February. Bought a toilet, but boy, they ran out and just
Mm,
pulled it out, and I thought, wait, we have to do all that, and
yeah,
I was thankful because I still couldn't walk.
Right.
Those that were really good.
Next item is, we're 9 we did, we're jumping over to 10 on the senior center report. And we're talking about. I'm not really sure how much of this has been circulated, now that I think about it.
Right.
You mean
As far as the senior center agreement. I'm not.
We have all the things that he was concerned about.
Right.
Okay.
And I thought he was gonna be discussing it with the village's lawyer and they were gonna just say, okay.
They did, and it was more, all right, so 3 issues. One was the ag conversion fees. Which my understanding is that we've never really received those. Shouldn't say never. In the recent past, we haven't received those from the village, so we offered that up as sort of a permanent arrangement. We'll take a pass on the ag conversion fees. Second one was the true up credits. And for I don't remember exactly what we said about 2023. I think we're gonna accept the 2023, but then ongoing, we're passing on the true up. And then the third one that Attorney Morgan was concerned about was some of the conditions of the termination, whether the village terminates or whether the town terminates. So I shouldn't try to guess, but I think I know. So I think the response, in a short way, the response from the village's attorney was more or less, we need to renegotiate everything. Open up the agreement totally and have at it with the understanding that they might go back to like 65,000 instead of 60. My take on it is when we were talking to Martin and Phil, and I can't remember, I mean, Jennifer was here, and I don't remember if anybody else was here. We negotiated, we said, true up, nope, ag fee is yours.
Right.
And we didn't talk about the termination because I think we saw a draft and it was fine. You know, you'd have to take a very conservative legal look at it. And if you were inclined to do that, then you would want to fill these holes in the termination clauses. But we're not, but you know, I don't know, it's more, to me, it's more informal than that. Not totally informal, but you know, we've dealt with the village for decades. I wouldn't expect anybody to, and this is, I get this is against like legal opinion, but I wouldn't expect them to stiff us or for us to do something that would mess up the agreement either, where we jump out of it. So my feeling on it is that the agreement is good and we should approve it.
I agree. We don't want to have to go into renegotiating this.
I think there was a letter from, it's on page 29 of the packet, where the attorney Morgan, he kind of summarizes. There were the three big issues that he had, and I think for the first two, he thought, well, I have to reread it now, but there was really just the last one that he was concerned about, and this is about basically the true up stuff, and this passing of money back and forth about if we terminated early and we would get something would go to Dane County and then they'd send half of it to the village and the village would send half of it to us. And that was, it was about, would we be losing money? Would the village be getting more money from us than they needed to? The way those things were worded. And I think Carl was, I agree with Carl, this is how you have to word things. Because every rule you make, somebody figures out how to work around it. And so this is how this attorney, but the attorney's mind is trying to, as I think you used the word fill the holes or whatever. So, but when you do look at that, so I thought, well, it's worth our while to kind of look at this a little bit carefully and see what we think about it. Some of the things like the senior center just closing abruptly, as he said, that's unlikely, but still, if that did happen, we wouldn't want to be out money that we should be getting back. So I don't know, that's just, I wasn't sure what I thought about it. I just thought, well, these are things this is what you pay an attorney to do, is to look at those things, and we should probably take them.
But what if it complicates us and it costs us more money and we go back to the drawing board rather than just saying, okay,
Well,
the other township said, okay,
yeah.
ours a little different. I'm for, let's just move ahead on this.
Right.
personally.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why they're called opinions.
Yeah,
But in another thing though, the village was playing hardball.
but we worked it out. It
When
wasn't
they-
hardball
yeah.
anymore. And now, do we want to play hardball back? I don't.
Well, the time to push it was then, when they,
Right.
like 6 weeks ago, a month, 2 months ago, or whatever. Anyway, those were some of the thoughts I had in trying to process all of this data.
So this probably would have helped me in the packet too, but, okay.
What,
It's
what,
a, the,
have everything.
do you, no, it's the
What?
email, from yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
from.
Derek?
Derek, yes. So he, and it's fine, I mean, with the sort of the upheaval in the office, it's not a big deal that something's missing, and then this is just a.
We just got it, literally.
Yeah, it was
So-
it was yesterday, or yeah, it was yesterday, no, I know, and all this stuff has happened in the last 24 hours, so that's a lot, but anyway, this is Derek Punch's lawyer at Stafford Law for the village. And so he's replying to our attorney. And he said something about it, as I mentioned in my last email, the village does not wish to make any changes to the agreement at this time, as the governing bodies of the other participating communities have already approved the agreement, and then blah, 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 blah. The village hopes to avoid additional delays associated with reopening negotiations. With that said, the village continues to operate in good faith to provide uninterrupted services to the residents of the town. At some point down a little bit, he says if the town wishes to remove or modify provisions, and he's referring to a specific one, but we will need to bring any counter proposal to the village board for further consideration. And there is a mention too of that the reduction from 65, almost 66,000 to 60 would be, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, up for consideration and up for renegotiation. So I don't. I don't, and they're right, other municipalities have approved it. And they're right, although we've already negotiated the negotiable points, I think. The termination, I don't think is a major consideration. And the monetary negotiations, I think, at the point that those were negotiated, there was, you know, agreement, Phil, Martin and our town. So I'm not inclined to keep this going forever and have it open and reopen for negotiation.
We have an
again.
agreement for 5 years at 60,000. I don't think we're gonna ask for any more than that.
And anything that we may,
Use that.
right, anything that we would have missed out on as far as true up or an ag conversion isn't even really a factor. I don't know, can you remember the last time we ever pulled in any ag conversion dollars?
Yeah,
How far back?
I can remember.
Can you?
Yes, it's
More
not
than
that
5
far
years?
back, but it's not a lot when it comes.
Yeah, it's not
to-
a couple thousand. Last number I saw was 1,700 for something.
Yeah. And I think the last one that I saw was like 2,300 or something.
So it's not. Yeah, so I'm,
And the true up, when Bill says. From the true up document, it appears from 2016 through 2022, the town overpaid in a total of this. It is unclear whether the town received any of the true up. We have received.
you
it.
said all of it, every single dime.
Right, so I think his clarity is, well, if you haven't, then
Yeah,
no,
right.
it's different, but we have. So that you can just check that
So it's a-
little concern off, because it's not a concern.
Right.
It has happened.
So there really are. The only, and it's not really even a concern because we've seen the trend of the true up dollars. With the exception of one weird year where something happened where they blipped up and I don't remember what it was. But there's not a lot of money there and it's declining and our share is declining.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it exceeded 5,000 in the last couple of years. So that would, you know, compared to the 66,000 versus 60. I think we still come out ahead and we're guaranteed that amount for,
Well, that's
5 years.
that's the biggest,
Yeah.
nicest part of it all.
right? So it's possible for us to vote on this tonight. If we had had 2 supervisors missing, I would have been inclined to push it off another month, but I think that. I think that we'll be okay voting on it tonight.
I make a motion that we approve the senior center agreement with the village.
I didn't say that.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no, and the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. And there's no Arlen for the Road and Traffic Safety Committee report. So let's push that. We can talk about them. Well, we can't talk about that really. Let's talk about road construction and bidding. So we'll push that to March. Good. Whoops. Okay, so number 12A, and this is the Wisconsin DOT classified rates, and this is what you were asking about, right? And I think we're just approving and adopting these,
Yep.
right? There's no, we can't edit, we can't do anything like that. Do we even need to do a formal approval?
If it says it on the agenda, I'm inclined to say yes, we do.
Okay.
I do have just a general question, point of information. I gather this is something that comes to us every year for approval.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was looking at this and I did not understand exactly the purpose of this document. There's rates for what?
I can tell
Can
you,
you explain? to that to
only
me?
on, from the one specific experience that I use rates for like
Yes,
this.
yeah.
Is when I'm filling out a grant application for our torque.
So it's.
I would use these-
projecting, it's
yeah.
for Preparing estimates.
Yep.
I just didn't
Exactly.
get that.
That's the only time I've used it, but I assume that there's probably,
And I mean, I just
the
felt
rates
like
used.
this is just the classic example of a poorly designed technical document. Because it just gives you all these numbers and you don't know what this is in service of. And how these are used. So now I know that that's how you would estimate road work. Okay, that's great.
yeah, those kind of things. I used it for the torque. I've used it for the torque.
And why would we dispute that this is the going rate that they've determined? Why would we argue with that? And I just couldn't tell from that what I was supposed to be approving.
Yes, that's,
Thank you.
that's just personal experience, what I've used it for.
Thank you.
There are other, there's
There
probably a
probably
million
are-
other ways to do it, but yeah.
Like, for example, if you're planning a capital budget. plan, if you would use these. Okay, great, thank you. No, I'm fine. I'm very happy. to know
Okay,
that.
I make a motion to approve the 2024 DOT classified rates.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no, no, and that passes. Next item is adding onto the storage room with the shed. And the only info I have on that is, I don't have it right in front of me, but it was gonna be about between $2,000 and $3,000 in materials, and then Abel and Ryan would prefer Hefty to do the work. So I don't have anything more specific than that right now.
And I thought that Jennifer had said that in just them going out and looking at it and talking to Dan Hefty about it, that it would be the materials list you guys received, that was from Able, right? Dan had said it'll be about, I thought he said, I don't know, she emailed us 2,500 to 3,000 more than that, the material, meaning for the everything else,
Yeah.
to tie that up, just so you know. And that, yes, the guys would prefer that they are not doing that work.
3,000 for the material.
Yeah,
Any more ARPA funds money, or is there any money being less spent on this because they didn't move the wall?
I'm not sure about that.
that could be used for that.
Right,
I
that's
don't
what I was
know.
thinking,
If-
right.
If,
If we could pull from. Is there a general, what we call, I don't know what line would we call? Not a general fund, but construction related or repair related?
like, just a account that we have.
Yeah,
There's like highway equipment, there's capital, I think there's like an improvement one too. That has, whatever, $40,000-$50,000.
you know, if there's a, oh, I know Abel wants his stuff back. Cause he's got his stuff, his trailer is in use, right?
Correct, and we don't have any, so since this room will not be storage.
Right,
We have that space being used as where we have all of our boxes and totes and all the things that we do need access to.
Right,
So there is a sense of urgency, meaning like not tomorrow, but like
but not March.
we can't do it too much longer because it's gotta get done so that we can move and complete the storage project, like the move,
Yeah,
complete the move. And yes, Abel has a personal trailer that a lot of our stuff is in that obviously he wants back.
So how do we find out?
We get
the
it for rent
exact
free.
that's what I'm
cost
trying,
that it's gonna be? We
That's-
can't
that's
just
what I'm
say, yeah, okay.
right, that's
Yeah.
what I'm concerned
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we could,
Need Something in writing.
well, there is this.
I mean, as far as what Abel came up with, but not what Hefty's.
Hefty, right.
Right.
Right, and that's why I'm thinking timing and that.
I
I think
mean,
it really would just be a one pager from
if you want
Hefty.
an actual bid or a quote
I don't
or
think-
whatever.
I don't think it has to be an official bid,
Doesn't
but
have
we
to be a
need
bid.
something, but then again, oh my God, all of a sudden it costs more. I mean, I think we need to cover a little bit about, I mean, they're gonna tear down that wall, is that part of it?
No.
No,
I don't think.
not,
so.
no, they're not doing that now.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's a
That's
different.
something else, this is just the.
This is the one that's in the shop, like in the
Ah.
shed out there,
Right.
way out
So
there.
then
We already
what's
have a storage
long-term
room.
Thing on what's gonna happen with this, I mean, is that kind of all part of the whole thing?
We have to, no,
Uh,
I think it's separate. We have to, because remember, in the beginning, we thought, oh, we approved both sections, but we didn't, right? So we would have to do that again with, I don't know how expensive it would be, maybe over 25,000.
Right, we don't know.
But.
It
so
could have to
that's
go
out-
to a technical bid. It could.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So right now, tonight, talking about it, that's out of the picture. We're really just talking about get a storage space.
Okay.
But this is still the same thing.
That's all, yeah. I've got
It's kind of the same thing.
questions.
Only because it's really just a question about the labor. Right? If it's materials,
Yeah.
we've got the.
Material list you have.
$3,059.
Mhm.
So we know that. It's just the labor to put it all together. And I don't know if, if Hefty and the pads, do they quote just time and
Yeah. they would
additional materials?
do Time and, I think he looked at the material list and thought that that was.
And how
appropriate,
busy
but
are they? When can they do it?
I'm not sure,
I
but
mean,
if
they
we
might not be-
postpone it 3 more months, they're not gonna
So
start
there's
until after
too many
that.
things we don't know yet to.
Right. I mean, I don't think it would be a lot. The labor, I mean, I think it wouldn't be that much, but I don't know what that much means, not
Yeah,
that
and
much.
there's also the unforeseen, and there's that little line down there, so that you are responsible for any difficulty you run into. It's
I hope-
like in
this is-
rehab, so that's
Yeah,
that's gotta
we
be it,
need
right?
something.
This is building a separate room, so it's not. There won't be any unforeseens, meaning that we're not breaking into walls or
It's a,
anything.
no,
Just-
right,
They're building walls in that side of the shed out there,
right.
which requires building 2x4 wall structures, framing a room. That's what they're doing. They're framing a room.
They should be able to come up with a good.
Yeah, they'll
pretty
just
exact estimate.
go, I think it's gonna take me 10 hours at $150 an hour, which is that what you want? We can get
I think that's
in writing.
fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And then, how to act on it. Sooner than a month, I'm not totally sure how we would do that.
Because if they can't get at it for a long time, we may have to see if someone else does it.
I just mean for us to act on it, for the board to actually give them approval.
Right, but I'm saying if Hefty can't do it, then that other Jacob maybe can do it. Just a thought. We
Right.
don't know how soon, because I think part of it, we say, when can you do it?
You know,
We just know that they said that they could. I don't know what that means because we asked, like, if you would even consider it, because obviously that does,
Right,
you take into consideration what your workload is right now.
right.
Do we know when they need it, when Able needs it by?
Yesterday.
Yep,
Yeah, I mean,
basically.
pretty much.
yeah, okay.
This was this storage room was something that we've needed before this project
Right,
started.
Back for a while.
If
So
able,
this is definitely a need
Right,
that happened
right.
before we even did this. But the
right,
fact of the matter is now it's an actual, like, more urgent need because we don't have that space anymore unless we're putting the stuff back in that space.
could we do this? Could we have, I think, I assume this is something Able would track down, like, hey, Hefty, can you do this? After we get that from them, can we see whether our schedules would allow like a 5-minute board meeting via Zoom or something? It would just,
Find out how long before they could even start. Because we may do it earlier board meeting and then.
Like before, or you mean before March? Yeah,
And it not
That's
be
fine.
So
necessary.
find out
is
that
what he's
along
saying.
with
I'm just saying we could do it, right, but if we needed to, we could do it quickly.
We can make for a quickie.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was assuming if it was like something that would happen in a week.
so we'll just see, hey, can we have a writing, in writing, send me something with a timeline? And then if the timeline's not until after March anyways, we can just put it on your March agenda if we need to, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, that works fine.
Okay, that's
anything-
great.
Anything else on that one? I don't think so. I don't know anything about these next two. Salt shed door, I know that something's wrong with it.
There is, but I don't know the answer to
Okay.
it either,
We'll.
and I don't know the update on equipment, you would know more than I do.
Okay, let's.
Can I just add something
Oh,
real quickly here?
sure.
I think that the door is broken or something and we need to have it repaired. No, that's just basically, and then also, I think Abel found that he needs a bigger trailer or something.
Oh,
and it's a
yes,
certain
that's
amount
true.
that's gonna
Mhm.
cost. So I've been spending, I spent a lot of time looking at how to come up with capital improvement plans, so we don't all of a sudden have these things here.
Mhm.
And
Or you account for them. like,
yeah,
or
and you
something's
just sort of
broken.
know, like, if we're gonna buy this new trailer, we put down, bought February such and such,
Right.
costs this much. When do we think it needs to be replaced? I mean, it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, it would be, it'd be time consuming. But I think it's really, really important. And the more I'm looking into it, the more I have ideas.
Mhm.
Now Lori's got the webinar also on capital improvement plans and the PowerPoint you have. I think I sent it to you too. I just think it's something that we need to have to decide now what do we spend on roads and to even have those in an order. Because maybe in 2027, we're gonna need to do
Mhm.
Bellbrook, you know, we just need it in front of us. I'm not saying maybe this, maybe that.
Right,
And I think
think-
the road, the work they did on the roads is the first piece of that.
Yes, it's just a piece of
We just
it.
need to do that with more of the other.
Right, and we
Yeah.
know what to spend on that when we have the other pieces. I don't know whether it would be worth it to even write something on the website. Is there anybody in the town that could help with a, capital improvement plan?
right.
You had talked about maybe being able to get forms, but I was looking again at something that the fire department has, a shortened version of what, and it's. To copy that one wouldn't be as difficult as some of the others, but we have to all come together to come up with inventory, and it's as much as salt. And
Right.
what is it, all sorts of
Right.
things, and just to get the list going, and this is what the new truck cost, and this is what we paid for, and this is how long, and this is the depreciation, I mean. We need to start now before we get further behind and then catch up with the rest, I don't know. I don't know where to go next, but I'm
Yeah.
concerned about it.
Is Ellers, I always think Ellers does things Ellers does something like this.
Yes.
And I wonder if there's an option, instead of contracting with them for the entire project, whether to, not
Help.
contract, get some
Give us
training.
direction
some-
for
yeah,
us who will do
Some
it or
basic,
something.
like a meeting with some basic, I don't know if they do that,
I don't know.
there's probably not a lot of money in for them. But it seems. Like, once you get over that hurdle of understanding the concept and having the tools for it, that it's something that we could do.
Once we have it, then we could keep it
It'd be easy
updated.
to keep it.
And I just wanted to bring that up because now we're talking about the shed thing and this update on equipment, but it's kind of, okay, well, now we
Right.
know when you need stuff and we believe you, but it'd be nice to be able to look ahead.
Totally agree.
All of us could be died in a tornado and we need something for the next people that are on the board to say, oh, look, they left us this information.
It's a little dark.
I mean, it could happen.
It would
overnight.
assume
I know,
Oh,
it's
and
nice.
the documents didn't get destroyed in the tornado.
Yeah, we hope they're electronic, they're not handwritten.
Thanks.
That feels to me like it's a small committee of a couple people. Once you get some kind of, I don't think it has to be the entire board, other than hearing the presentation and understanding the data. But for creating that kind of document, it doesn't seem,
Or getting
it doesn't
everybody's
seem like
input,
that
yeah.
much of a leap. Once you learn the basics. It's
Yeah,
really-
Other thing, if anybody still has it from the fire department, the joint meeting, the
Yeah.
very first one that we had and all
Right.
that stuff
We
that we
could just
got.
use that as
They
a
have their
template.
10-year plan, their page
Yeah.
after page. I have one now that I'm looking at that's a little bit easier, all the information, but it's more consolidated.
Yeah, We could just take a template, something, and then adapt it as we needed.
Yeah, we don't have to match up with like Madison's.
No.
Definitely.
I asked Lisa if she had any forms.
Oh, she might.
She ignored me.
Oh, she ignored you. Oh.
That's not cool. But no, I think it's a great idea. I hear you volunteering for the committee. That's what I heard. Number 13, I have no idea about this one either. What that's the replacement building inspector.
No,
And-
What was your last update from Jennifer about our building
we were
inspector?
looking for one.
Okay, so Safe Built we have a couple, we have a few. That have been just battling along, like,
So you just contact the company when you need something done and you get different people.
so. Right now, that's kind of how it's going,
Yeah.
except for that. The village basically has one or two of them that are like full-time
I
there,
see.
and so that one takes care of us too right now.
Oh, I see.
So, but as far as like a permanent solution, the one, the fill-ins for Tony right now, they've been around there for a very long time. They're not new to
Mhm.
anything. They're not even new to Safe Built.
Mhm.
They're just the ones that are stationed here for now, and it's been going fine.
Okay, good.
So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
there's no real concern at this point.
You have some very experienced people that
Yes.
know our area.
Yeah, it hasn't even really, there hasn't been a hiccup yet
Okay.
in that process. It's just
What's-
working with more than one person sometimes.
Was there a discussion about having a designated person? Is that what I'm trying to remember?
Tony used to be our designated
Yeah.
person from Safe Belt.
Yeah.
I think the discussion was if perhaps the village is going to hire an actual, which they have
Oh.
strongly
You
considered.
mean have their own staff person?
Mhm. Then Safe Belt would most likely not consider us a
Mm.
standalone contract.
Oh, interesting.
They don't make enough from us to be a standalone contract.
Right.
They're all over the place. So it's great because we're grouped in with Brooklyn and us and them, and we have this like cooperative kind of thing.
Mhm.
So then what would we do from there? For right now, that's not a concern because Safe Built's taking care of us. They're still taking care of the village just fine. So yeah, we're good right now. And it's been going fine here.
Okay.
We miss Tony, but it's been going fine.
Good. Okay, number 14, various things. For 14A, let's postpone that one. So we can talk more about the AV stuff later. And that's with audio contractors. 14B, you can see the updates.
Yeah.
It's great. It's looking great. And
Let's see the updates.
computers get hooked up tomorrow? Or is it pushed back?
The computers IT came today. They said they need some patch panel. I don't know what that is, but I'm quoting.
Yep.
So I was in contact with Hefty and he's working on Cyril to get that done. So whenever that's done, then the computer will schedule when they will move our electronics over. And at that time, we can start moving other
Alright.
things
Exciting.
over. We're waiting on, there's there's like a trim base
Mhm.
that needs to be completed by our carpet people. They just ran out of material. They should be coming back at some point this week and doing that. And once that's done, we'll take those lateral files and put them in there. And then that countertop surface will be constructed and figured out by Hefty. And then our window will go in.
And then Windows last.
Yeah, the hard service has to come first.
Yeah.
There's a
That's great. I
couple
think
little
it's
teeny
super.
weeny things that, there's also obviously a little punch list too that has to happen.
Right.
We'll trim around the window and things like
Yeah.
that, but there's these little steps that have to happen before the next step happens, like always. But it's working out. It's going good.
It's gonna be soon.
Yeah, I know.
That's exciting.
I sat in there today for a second. Well, we didn't have internet until 9:30 this morning.
Oh, no.
And I just sat at my new desk for a little bit because I didn't have internet, so I couldn't do anything. I was waiting for IT.
I was gonna say, it should be all good to go by April 2nd.
We're talking like probably within the next week and a half,
Yeah,
we'll
it should
be
be really soon.
getting this mess cleaned up. So
Mhm.
might still be a mess in there before putting stuff back. We also have injured person, so
Yeah.
it might be a little
Lori and I
slower
talked about it,
moving.
because we know she wants it the way she wants it, so she gets to come in and order us around, and Lori and I will
Yeah.
do what she tells us to do.
It'll probably be pretty hard for her to resist
Yeah,
any
but
of
she's gonna have
that.
to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. So when she comes back.
Yeah.
She might need, yeah, she
Yep.
definitely, I asked her, what do we do? And she says, I go, you just wanna smooth the stuff in there, you know, cause we can't go through it, it's her things.
Right.
And she's like, yes, okay,
Oh, all right.
let's get that done then, and you can go and at your pace.
Did you tell everybody that you got a message from her this evening?
Oh, I did, well, after, right after you guys asked me, she sent me a message, she's fine, she's okay, she's healing, home and healing. Nerve blocker is not in pain,
Good.
just tired. Okay.
So
I'd say that's good.
let me zoom through the last couple of things here. The you were all done with town hall office
Mhm.
remodel stuff?
Yeah.
14C is on the vision planning project. And so the group of us that met with the UW extension person, well, three of them, are going to set up another meeting in early March. So that's sort of why do I blank out on her name? Sharon. So she's got a process to follow that we're gonna review and see how it works, but it appears it'll be like a steering committee. And that'll be me, Tim, Stephanie, and Jennifer when she's available. And then from there, we'll be looking for other, mostly residents probably, to do whatever tasks have to be done. You know, developing the survey questions, doing all these things. So in a couple of weeks, we'll have that next meeting and then go from there and fill in everybody. So some of these names, we were talking about names for the park committee. I know that there've been a couple names thrown out for participating on this vision planning project. So we'll look at those people too. But I imagine we'll do something similar to what we're doing with the park committee in putting something in the paper. And you know, for sure on the website. But we want to get a nice mix. Well, two things. I don't think in the early discussion, they really were leading toward a pretty lean number of people participating overall. I'll have to talk to her more because I don't think she meant the steering committee only about that, but I also don't know how we do, like, say, I don't know how many different little tasks, but you know, 5 different tasks. We're not necessarily going to have the same people doing it, so we could have more, like, let's say it's three people per editing survey questions. Well,
So you'll also have to give people information before you answer the survey questions.
yeah, I'm really just, at this point, I'm just talking about developing the materials, right? So we're not, and definitely there'd have to be like some kind of background information,
Before they
really
answer.
for each question.
Yeah.
So the whole format of that hasn't been developed yet, so we want to have this discussion with Sharon. Which I think is. So that's where we are with that.
So to what extent might this overlap with the comprehensive plan? I mean.
I think the main difference is it's a survey of everybody, potentially everybody, right? And so the comprehensive plan was influenced by like that survey from a while
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
This is more along the lines of the one from 1999 and 2000,
Okay,
which is more.
where is that? Where is the other, can I find that to see what it looks like?
There might be one in the file cabinet's gone.
The little book?
I've got one. I've got
Yeah.
some extras at
The
home.
visioning
So I can,
Yeah,
thing, is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about, Lori?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of those
Got a
somewhere.
lot of those, yeah, see, that's a lot of people do.
We got a lot of those little books somewhere. We can get you one.
Yeah, okay.
but I for sure have some.
So let's say they're in that drawer, but the drawer's not there.
No, I did the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know where that drawer is. I don't know where that,
I know where they used to be.
that is packed away. That I would have to ask Jennifer. And it's probably just stacked up in there and not able to get to yet, but it will be very shortly.
So we'll go through this next meeting, compare our thoughts to her thoughts, see where we are. But for sure, all the board members will be looped in as we go along, and you know, we'll welcome your feedback. And that's it, I think, for board communications. Future meeting dates are there for reference. I think they're all correct as is. And Item 15, clerk's report, and I think it looks like we have the loan balance.
In there,
sheet
yeah, I
in
think
here.
you put it in there.
I don't think it needs any explanation necessarily, unless Stephanie, you have anything? you wanna
She
say?
usually adds it every time, so it's the same as you're used to seeing. Date of audit, we start our field day the February 28th. Election training she has on here, I just have the. We will try to schedule an in-person training actually, once we get. Like completion of this and our stuff back in. It may not be until after the April 2nd election, but we do plan on doing one before our big one, so.
Okay.
And actually having people come in and do another refresh and training on everything, so
Okay, cool.
that's all I have.
All right, excellent. Before we wrap up. Sharon, do you have anything you want to chime in with or questions? Probably unmute. Oh.
No, not tonight. Just listening to see what's going on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Without objection, then we're adjourned. Really appreciate this.
All right, that's a lot of notes, huh?
You know, at some point,